I am Blair, Executive Vice President and Attorney here at Allegiance. And to top it off, my claim to fame is that I am Dawn's daughter. Lucky me, I get to tackle her tip of the week today. We get a lot of questions on who has to sign as seller on the contract. Marital status of the seller is of significance when determining who needs to sign. It is important to let the title company know up front about the seller's marital status since owning the property. On the title commitment that we produce, there is a typical requirement that states we must determine the marital status of the record owners at the time of and at all times subsequent to the acquisition of the subject property and require joinder where applicable. In Texas, homesteads are strongly protected, and the laws prohibit either spouse from selling, conveying, or encumbering the homestead without the joinder of the other spouse, regardless of if it's separate property or community property. So in short, when do you need a spouse to sign a deed? If it is homestead, always. If it is not homestead, usually both spouses will have to sign only if both spouses are in title. If only one spouse is in title on the property, we are going to have a non-homestead affidavit signed by the other spouse at closing or prior to closing. We often get asked, well, it's homestead, but it is separate property, so does a spouse who didn't purchase the property really need to sign? One recent question we received dealt with an individual who bought a piece of property before he was married. Now he's married, and they are moving their family across the country and wondering if the wife needs to sign the sale documents. They wanted the answer to be no. But unfortunately, the short answer to this question is that if it is their homestead, the wife will need to sign on the deed at closing. The realtor added that the wife is blind with 2 young kids at home and the family is moving across the country because of her job that she needs to start immediately. Because of these existential circumstances, the realtor wanted to know if there was any way to get around her signing, and especially because the husband bought it before they were even married. Unfortunately, no. The wife must sign the deed. Her notary block will read differently than the customary notary block to account for the fact that she cannot physically read the document, but her signature will need to be on the deed. The only way the wife could not sign the deed is if she gave her husband or another individual a power of attorney to sell the property for her. So, if she in fact needed to move to a new house in a different state before closing could occur, the power of attorney would allow for someone, either her husband or another individual, to sign on her behalf. Either way, the wife needs to sign the deed conveying the property or sign a power of attorney giving another individual the authority to sell the property on her behalf. As I mentioned, in Texas, homestead property is extremely protected, and both spouses must be a joinder in one way or another in order to sell or convey the property. It is important to let us know any changes in marital status since the individual bought the property so that we can perform adequate research and prepare for all individuals who need to sign on the conveyance or sale of the property, whether that be at closing on the deed or preparing a power of attorney ahead of time for either individual to sign. Thank you for listening to our tip of the week. We hope you find this valuable and you will think of us with your upcoming closings. We would love to work with you. If you have any ideas for tip of the week, please email us at tipoftheweek@allegiancetitle.com.